Joining us now to talk about this and try to understand it just a little bit better is Jason Greenblatt, the former U.S. envoy to the Middle East during the Trump administration. Jason, thank you for being here. I know you just got back from Israel a few hours ago, so first of all, thank you for taking the time. But the big concern right now is this question. Are we seeing a new war develop right now?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for allowing people to understand what's happening better. And I did just return this morning after spending several hours last night in and out of bomb shelters. It's hard to predict what's happening. I certainly wouldn't want to predict a war, but this is a very, very significant escalation by Hamas. I would say unprecedented in the recent past, and it is extremely concerning. What's also concerning is the mixed messages coming out of the international community. What the international community should be doing is fully supporting Israel's right to defend itself and fully condemning Hamas for disrupting lives, for the killing through their actions of both Palestinians and Israelis, and the unhelpfulness of the mixed condemnations, the weak condemnations, is part of the reason that this will continue.
Jason, you know these countries, you know these parties intimately. So tell me, there's on one hand retaliation. When someone's attacked, you can retaliate. I'm thinking on the other hand, there's amelioration. If you were over there advising people right now to make this better right now, what is your number one advice?
If I'm advising the Prime Minister of Israel, my advice would be what he's doing. Your job, Mr. Prime Minister, is to protect the citizens of Israel. We are in a battle of good versus evil. Nobody should be criticizing the good guy here, and the good guy here is Israel. The bad guy here is Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, all Iran-funded terrorists. The bad guy is Houthi terrorists in Yemen. Same situation.
So what does help people take that step forward, or at least, let's say, stop the fuse of the bomb as it gets down ever closer? That I know that you think that dealing with leaders of Hamas, that not only is it not fruitful, but maybe deleterious. What should be done? Because it can't just be bombs.
Well, at the moment, it's defense, right? At the moment, it's deterrence. At the moment, it's what can they do to cause Hamas to put a stop in it for at the moment, right? But is there a magic wand that Israel could do to make Hamas stop? Can they ask for Hamas to stop? No, that would be a joke. So I think the answer is there is nothing that they can do other than a strong reaction to an attack from a terrorist organization. And I think any rational country, any rational leader around the world would do the same thing. And anyone who's critical of Israel is not being intellectually honest.
Final question here. You were one of the chief architects of former President Trump's vision for Middle East peace, and he saw some big successes in the Abraham Accords. I think everyone of every party said, yes, that was a step in the right direction. So let's extend that a bit, because clearly there is still more work to be done, the hardest part. What is the next step once we get through this moment?
You're right. There is a lot more work to be done, but we need to separate out the conflicts. The Arab-Israeli conflict and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which were lumped together for years, understandably so. But the Abraham Accord shows that they can be decoupled and solved separately. So if and when things calm down, the next step is I hope other countries eventually join the Abraham Accords. And I hope that eventually the Palestinians are able to elect themselves a leadership that is looking forward to a better future for Palestinians, who can then negotiate in good faith together with Israel and see if that conflict itself can be resolved. But we can't even get to talking about the core issues of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as long as you have Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad attacking and causing suffering for Palestinians in Gaza, eventually, potentially, in what I call Judea-Samaria, perhaps you call the West Bank. Unless and until these terrorists are uprooted from the Palestinian people, I'm not sure there will be a solution for the Palestinians.
Jason Greenblatt, former U.S. envoy to the Middle East under the Trump administration. Mr. Greenblatt, thank you for your time. And again, we are glad you're back home safely.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the time.